He was once a kid watching people around him express themselves through their arts and gifts. Now, he gets to do the same thing while traveling the world. I hope today's stranger gives you the encouragement to break through whatever self-imposed limitations you have on yourself and just do the damn thing. Hi, I'm Matt Hayes, and this is episode number 29 of Meet a Stranger. It was such a beautiful afternoon at the coffee stand in Old San Juan when stranger number 29 and I sat down for a quick chat. I've seen him around the neighborhood before taking photos of people. He's a street photographer as one of his side hustles. But he's also a performer for a huge theatrical show that you would know just by the name of it that travels around the world. I've always been fascinated with how people become comfortable in their own skin to be able to do what they do. Were they always like that, or did they have to work through shyness or something else? Because putting yourself out there for the world to see isn't always easy. He shared with me his journey, and one word he said really stood out to me. After the interview, I'll tell you which word and why. Take a listen. You are a performer traveling the world, doing some amazing things. Were you always kind of a big performer personality when you were a kid? Were you always kind of the star, or is this something new for you?
I grew up in New York City, where I grew up with different people around me. In New York City, you could put yourself into different kinds of circles of people, the dancers, the performers, the painters, anything. There's so much stuff going on in New York City. I grew up as an only child, and I had to overcome me being that shy kid in the room, and I grew up with a lot of older folks, and I was always the guy that, I was always around older guys and, trying to learn how to talk to girls or how to do certain things. And so I was never the performer. I was more the observer. And so in being the observer, later on, when I gained the confidence to execute what I've learned with the people that I grew up with, that's how I started doing what I wanted to do. You learn, being an only child, you don't have a brother or sister, and you're not going to go to your parents and ask them, how do you talk to girls, or how do you do certain things, and so there becomes a level where there's ice broken, and you just got to take a risk and try new things, and that's pretty much what I did.
Do you remember the first time you broke that ice and took a real chance?
Yeah, I tried out for a show years later. I mean, there's different moments in life, right? But the most recent that I think was a great win was me. I went to school for social work. First, I went to school for music production. Then a guy came in and talked about how he's a drummer and he only lives off of gigs, and he has 3 kids. And I thought to myself, I want 3 kids, and I'm a drummer. I just can't live off of gigs. So I was just like, I can't do this no more. It was just scary for me, and so that's when I transitioned to social work. So I worked with kids and homeless for many years in New York City, about 7 years. And then from there, I moved on to trying out for a show, off-Broadway show in New York City. And what I thought was that was a big risk that I took, and, to change careers. And I got to do the show, and I've been in the show now for 7 years. But it was one of the hardest things I've ever done, taking that risk, breaking the ice, and, just chasing your own happiness is what I really wanted to do.
I'm sure you were doing amazing work with your social work and all, but did you not feel happy? How were you feeling as a human being during that time, not doing what you truly want to do?
Not to bash any company or anything like that, but I think there comes a moment where things become about the numbers and not about the people anymore, especially when it comes in that field of working with people in the streets and kids and homeless and all that stuff. A lot of donors love to hear about numbers and stuff like that. So that's when I got a little discouraged, and I was just like, I don't want to be a part of this anymore, and even though I've had many great memories and we did a lot of great work, and I've got a chance to help a lot of people, not that, I'm glorifying myself or I'm trying to shine a light on myself, but I decided that, okay, now it's time for me to do something for me. Yeah. That was something that I did fresh out of college. And, I got a little older, and I'm like, okay, now I try to figure out what I want to do with my art, with my music, with the things that I want to do, So that's kind of how it went down.
So now that you're performing, you're doing what you love, you're doing your art. You mentioned before about how you kind of kept hitting like these glass ceilings or ceilings and pushing through. What is the next one for you then? What is it you want to do next that you haven't done?
I know that what I've noticed in life, for me personally, I've come to the conclusion that what's more valuable than money is time and what you do with your time. And I don't want to work a 9 to 5, you know. I thought that was the route I needed to go because that's what was presented to me. But while you're living in the world, you figure it out, and you become an entrepreneur. Not to just throw that word there loosely, but yeah, you just want to figure out how you could sell your art. So I'm a photographer when I'm not doing the show. When I'm doing the show, I'm making my money. So I don't see a glass ceiling anymore because I get to work for myself. And I also get to be a part of a show that I love, and I feel respected, and they love my show, and yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm going to be there for a while. I'm not sure how long, but I know eventually, I know you're holding a beautiful dog in your arms right now. I like to have me a dog. I like to one day have the 3 kids that I talked about earlier, and, you know, just build a family, start something, you know, but as of now, I'm just building a nest. I'm still building a nest. I'll be 35 this month. It'll be my birthday. And I get to, you know, continue to do more art. I just want to do more art. But as of now, I don't feel like there's a glass ceiling anymore. If anything, I get to just see through it and be okay with that.
You said that when you were younger, you were very much an observer, just observing the world. And now you've been able to use that. You started to use that knowledge to help you push through different moments in life. Do you still see yourself as an observer now? And how does that different now that you've kind of pushed through all what you wanted to do?
I think I am still an observer. That's something that I can't get rid of in a way. I'm always very observant of my surroundings, who's around, who has a booger, who doesn't have a booger.
Wait a minute, do I?
No, you're good right now.
Thank you.
You know, stuff like that. But I think that just becomes a part of you, you know. It's good to be that person. Being a person from New York, that's what you are anyway. You're on a train late at night, or you're always looking around. You're in cities, you know. I'm known to be a city boy, and so I'll always be an observer, but that doesn't take away from what else I've developed and other things I've developed in my life as being a performer, you know, being a person that's caring, being a person, you know, stuff, you know, ask somebody that knows me, they'll tell you who I am. I'm going to say who I am, but that's where I'm at. Yeah.
The word that really stood out to me, observe. Because as adults, we sometimes don't stop and just observe what's going on around us. When we're kids, it's easy to take a look and just take in everything we see in the world, and we have those memories. But as adults, we're so busy just being adults. We sometimes don't stop and just even look at something different. You know, like when you're walking down the street or driving around your neighborhood, you're always looking straight ahead and seeing things exactly the same way. But what if we just looked up a little bit? Looked at the trees in a different angle, looked up at the sky, at the stars, at the sun, looked up at our whole neighborhood, looked up at areas that we go through every single day and look at it at a different angle. Try to notice it a little differently. I love that feeling when you do that because you can see it differently. It feels new and rejuvenating, and maybe there's a new observation you can take from that. What if we did that somehow once a day? Maybe it can help us see the people around us a little differently, our family, our friends, maybe even a situation. How are you going to try to look at something a little differently today? I'd love to know. Slide into my social media DMs and tell me. Best way to do that? Instagram @GoMeetAStranger or my personal one @MattHayes. I appreciate you taking a minute to meet a stranger today. Until next time, I'm Matt Hayes. Onward.